everyone in the Sharpieverse, and welcome to this week's edition of Steel Sharpens Steel. This week's episode is brought to you by the forthcoming sixth season of Insecure, starring quote unquote rapper DDG and Darius. Let's just call him Kiki Shepard's baby daddy.
That is his name.
The sixth season of Insecure coming soon to HBO and the Max app.
Mhm.
I love
Welcome,
these
everybody.
inside jokes.
Yeah, we got jokes. We always have jokes. I'm Tom Cunningham.
I'm Joy Stevens.
And I am special guest Jermaine Taylor. I'm so happy to be here, guys.
Woo, there he is. Boy, I got to tell you, them teeth is glowing.
All of a sudden, I just turned on. Remember how sort of lazy I was like prior to in the beginning? Wow, I'm just big now. Yay. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, your video light is bringing them teethus out. They be popping.
And my Colgate charcoal.
It is.
Hey, whatever works.
Whatever makes it happen. So we are gonna kick right off, and congrats to Anthony Turner for being first one in the chat. That is not exactly a surprise.
Right.
But we got Clarence
Hey,
in
Patrice.
the number 2 position and Mark Stepney in number 3. That is a first time, I think. Usually
Mhm.
we get at least our second plus CJ be up in there somewhere.
I mean, CJ, they all in there at 8:31. So it's photo finish. It's a matter of seconds.
It's seconds.
Mhm.
Those
Seconds.
Sharpies are
So,
Let me
dedicated.
tell y'all something y'all don't know about Anthony though. Anthony will post up like somewhere lurking around 8:25. And as soon as he sees the
That
we are
notification.
going before the countdown is done, he's like, ha, hello. So y'all got to get up early in the morning to get in.
That notification be popping. I'd like for you to put in the chat while we're talking about notifications. I'd like to know which Facebook channel you all are watching when you come in on the show. It is gorgeous, isn't it? Are you watching? I know you're not watching Tom Cunningham. That's Joy's fault because she set up the link today.
I did.
At me. But are you mostly watching on Observations, or are you mostly watching on Steel Sharp and Steel? If you're coming from Facebook, drop in the chat which channel you're actually watching, because we're going to try to see if we can goose the algorithm by only posting to one Facebook channel. Our belief, okay, thank you, Patrice. We know that we were getting a bunch of people from Observation, but it looks like we have no YouTubers this week, which is an interesting turn of events. But let's get into it, because the reason we sponsored the show by these two very, very, very insecure people is that even though the Usher drama is a little bit tamping down, it's only tamping down because Halle Bailey's boyfriend, this wannabe mumble rapper DDG, literally released a song that is a stream of consciousness series of texts.
That's a great way to put that.
And then had the nerve to shoot a whole ass video with what could only be stated is an obvious Halle Bailey stand-in, except she's like a little more light-skinned, but it's very clear it's supposed to be her. And
Hella Bailey. Yeah.
Hella.
To me, this all seems calculated, though. It seems he went in the relationship with this motive in mind. Because you just don't happen upon that. I mean, what happens to where you want to just pretty much blast the most intimate details of your intimate life? What is that?
Well, okay, but have you listened to the song?
I've heard it in pieces.
Yeah, because he's not really, to me, this happened the day after the European premiere
Little Mermaid.
Wherever it was that she was holding dude's hand, or it happened like he saw her holding hands, and then they watched the movie, and then he was in his feelings about kissing, because literally, I know he typed this stuff into a text to her and then said, I need a track. This is exactly just some shit that came right out of his head with no filter, talking about some dumb shit. Just because they film it don't make it right. What are you talking about?
Yeah, these are some issues that they're having before, and then I think it just gets exacerbated when they put it out in the ether like
So to your point,
That damn
Jermaine,
long.
I don't think it was premeditated. I do think it was calculated once he decided he was mad
Right.
and he didn't get the response from Halle that he wanted. He
Right.
was like, I'm gonna do some fuckboy stuff. Like he just decided, I'm gonna do this. And I mean, honestly, finding a stand-in wasn't so hard,
No.
you know. Yeah. And then
No, there's plenty of beautiful black girls
You've
in
seen
LA.
how people drop track. What was that song? Give me one margarita, I'm gonna open my leg. They did that in 24 hours.
So that's how
clearly.
we're working out our relationship issues out there in the public like that now.
You act like old boy didn't do that to Jada a couple years ago.
Well,
My memory show.
August Alsina. But I mean, it's what these young kids do.
Yeah.
And he literally says, one of his lyrics is, I have a platform, I'm going to abuse it.
Yeah. And that's what he's doing.
If they aren't already broken up, she needs to have Ursula turn him into a poor unfortunate soul. Because that's some old bullshit.
Right.
You think this will taint her Disney image at all?
Absolutely not, because this is all on him. She didn't do anything wrong. She didn't even do anything really questionable, right? She's just outside.
Well, they just need to have a reason. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean Disney can't do that. They're being very pro, like, live your life, be an adult. She didn't do. I mean, if anything, I was wondering if they was gonna be looking at her sister like, that's you, like, because Chloe.
She puts it out. Did y'all see Swarm?
Swarm?
Yeah, that's that movie with Damson Idris and
and Dominique Fishback.
It's the Beehive thing.
Gotcha. I remember now.
The opening scene.
That's Halle. That's Halle, right? Not Chloe in the opening scene.
Which one? The opening scene is which one is the thicker one?
Chloe.
That's Chloe.
Oh, so Chloe is in Swarm.
Right. And Chloe is in Carnival right now, last time I saw.
Oh, yes, that was Chloe, right, in St. Lucia or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, no, DDG could definitely not have been Chloe's boyfriend after that first scene in Swarm, because she getting them back shots hard.
It would have been a hit put out on somebody, because I mean that was a lot.
No, it's 5 minutes into the damn movie. So he ain't no way.
No imagination. I mean, you can literally take notes. Oh, I can try that next time. I mean, it's
right.
Right. Take some ideas. Find out what you like. Speaking of movies, I do want to drop this real quick. I literally spent the last 2 hours because I wanted to watch it, to talk about it. They cloned Tyrone on Netflix.
Oh, that did just come out today on Netflix.
That shit is wild. Look at me, people. That shit is wild.
That is what I did not get to see today. I was trying to see it in the theater just so I could support, but it didn't appear to be at any AMC theaters. And since I'm an A-list person, I try to go see it at AMC, whatever possible.
It was in out of the theater so quick, I missed it. I think I was watching The Blackening or something. Like, it was, I didn't remember even seeing it advertised in the theater. I just saw it on Netflix because they know I'm Black, and they were like, you want to see this? And I absolutely did. I will tell you this, it has the potential, like, discussion points and depth of Get Out. But it also has the flavor and feel of, like, a Jackie Brown, a Dolomite show. Like, it feels Black exploitationist,
a little campy,
pieces, with touches
like the Black Dynamite, the Black Dynamite,
the live action Black Dynamite, yeah. But there's also touches of, what was that other movie where the white girl was at Kryptonite and Eddie Griffin was in it?
Oh, Undercover Brother.
Undercover. It's got touches of that too. Like, it's a lot, and it's great. I highly recommend. 2 thumbs up.
Sounds like you need a little extra to watch that. You just
don't do that, because it'll have you paranoid and scared to go outside. Because it's got conspiracy theory stuff. Like, it's like Dr. Sebi and Dr. Umar got together and said, we're gonna put together a movie, and then Jordan Peele said, now let's make it good. Like, it's all a conspiracy.
Feel like you didn't smoke,
right?
But
like, really I will tell you one line in that movie, because it's in the trailer. It's in the chicken. Like, it's
right.
Wild.
Well, and actually Hunters, the other Netflix series, the first season of Hunters was predicated on the notion that there was a Nazi scheme to put this agent in corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, that would sterilize Black families
Wow.
and Black people.
I wonder what's the correlation between corn syrup and Black folk.
Well, corn syrup is in a lot of trash food, and
Okay.
Yeah, the moral of the story is don't eat, grow your own food and cook it.
Yeah, basically.
Chan.
I'm starting The Horrors of Dolores Roach later on this evening.
Stand down,
You guys
Chan.
heard anything about that?
The Horrors of Dolores Roach. I feel like I know the name, but what's it about?
Yeah. Well, it's a horror. It's a series. I believe it's on Amazon.
Okay.
They're into doing these very psychedelic type of, series right now, because Swamp was based on the girl who had some mental challenges. And I feel like this Dolores Roach thing is the same thing. I know nothing about it, but it's just been trending all over my timeline. So I feel like I need to get in so I can talk about it.
Yeah, get into it. Let us know. Let us know what you think.
Right.
But I have derailed Tom's whole intro, so we'll get back to
it. It's okay. We were, I don't need to give too much breath to life for insecure F-boys who can't handle being in their relationships. And I'm, Hallie, you're a bit young for me, but I'm here to tell you, if Simone Biles can find a good dude, it's some dudes out there who are not so insecure that they will post what basic, you need that 1-800 get help line, bro. That's what you need. Stop making silly trash mumble rap videos and get you some therapy.
Yeah.
Dana just finished it. Tell us how it was, Dana. Put it in the chat.
Donna. Hey, Donna.
Oh, is that Donna? I'm sorry.
Bad eyes. By the way.
8 episodes. Damn.
I'm sorry. My eyes are bad. Everything.
Anthony, they will attack a series in a minute. I swear to God. Now I have to scroll past their stuff on my timeline because they'll give it all away. So yeah, it's just really quick.
I would be careful with Tom because sometimes in explaining what he wants to explain, he'd be like, and then
Yeah, no, I'm not doing any of that. Doing any of that. I have seen Barbie. I have seen Oppenheimer. I didn't do a Barbieheimer
already.
I saw Barbie yesterday. I saw Oppenheimer today. Here's the thing. You do not need to see Oppenheimer in IMAX. It's a biopic, people. Spoiler alert, the bomb works.
Yeah, you know how that ends.
Yeah, but it doesn't end there. That's 2 hours. Then there's a whole hour after that. Because I didn't know this about Oppenheimer. It was basically.
Do the hobbits show up? Like, if I'm gonna be in there for 3 hours, I'm gonna need some sci-fi fantasy to go along with it.
It is a well done film, but Christopher Nolan is a self-indulgent prick, and I just didn't need 3 hours of that. I did not know. My awareness of Oppenheimer.
Are you about to say something that we don't know?
No, I'm not. Okay. I'm not. My awareness of Oppenheimer was. Sting in that song Russians, Oppenheimer's Deadly Toy. I knew Trinity and Fat Man and Little Boy. That's what I knew about Oppenheimer. I didn't know anything about him as a person.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything about what happened to him after Trinity. So this movie does both of those things. It starts him out as a young person. 40 minutes in is when Trinity when the whole Los Alamos thing kicks off. That's fine. All the way through Los Alamos, and then there's an aftermath piece. I will say, you would not know this from the trailers, but Robert Downey Jr. is a huge part of this film.
Wow.
Huge!
Okay.
I just didn't think they were expecting audiences to sit through a 3-hour film nowadays.
Well, it's doing great. It's having a very strong opening. They're estimating it's got 50 million, I think, so far. They're estimating
it's hot outside and people are sitting in a cool theater. I'm going to chalk it up to that.
It's not a bad movie. It's better than Interstellar. I've seen all of Chris Nolan's movies, and I think most of them are
Interstellar
overrated.
is absolute garbage.
Yeah, it's a lot better than Interstellar. It's not conceptual. It is what I have read is a very faithful translation of a particularly dense biography, and that he pulled it off. And stars. There is not a single shot of this movie that does not have a knowable face in it. And you've got some really small cameos. Gary Oldman is in it.
Bruh.
I mean, it's just Josh Hartnett.
Bruh, stop. Like, I want to be surprised by what I see.
Okay, that's fine. All right, fine.
And Josh I know that I probably want to see it. But I'm just trying to get all over the ride.
It's a good movie. And Issa Rae is.
Do they paint them in a bad light, CJ?
No,
about
there
the.
aren't any. There aren't any indigenous people in it, but it does reference the fact that Los Alamos was basically taken from
I see.
indigenous
And it
people.
glosses over it, I assume.
No, it doesn't gloss over it.
Good
It
old
actually
Hollywood.
shows him asking that they give Los Alamos back to the indigenous people, and the federal government's like, yeah, fuck.
Well, they did that a couple weeks ago to the Cherokee Nation.
Exactly.
Like we have said, fuck them, ever since collectively as the United States. Like at one point we can say it was all the white folks at the beginning, but we've been here, black folks, Asian, everybody else has been here for a couple hundred years, and we still continue to fuck over the Native Americans.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. And by calling them Native Americans doesn't help. So Barbie is an interesting film. It's a lot shorter.
Good.
I leave that for women's voices to weigh in. When I saw the trailers, I was intrigued by the trailers, and it was a Greta Gerwig interpretation of the story. So, which is to
what's
say,
the whole protest and blowback with the trans thing? I'm seeing that right now. What's going on with that?
Well, there is a trans person who is a Barbie. And they're not saying that it's a trans Barbie. She's just a Barbie.
But played by a trans person?
Played by a trans person.
Okay.
And
I mean, is she cute? Is she cute? Who cares?
I think it's the same trans influencer from the Bud Light thing, which
Dylan, what's his name?
Dylan.
Yeah.
Her name.
I'm so sorry.
Dylan Mulvaney or something.
Strike that. For the record, that is struck.
Yes.
Right.
Dylan Mulvaney.
Dylan. I think it's Dylan. It might not be, but I think
I know that.
And I'm sure that the people who are driving it to $150 million opening have not been at all dissuaded by the anti-trans rhetoric, which may be a part of the pushback and the wokeness and all of that stuff. People who don't know what woke means would definitely classify this movie as woke. I mean, they're no less wrong for the misclassification, but it definitely has a pro-feminist view. It definitely has a pro-Barbie view. They do have a young character who literally talks shit. Well, let me look up Hari Nef then, because
is it a chock full of social issues as Barbie, or is it just really?
You're right. It's absolutely Hari Nef.
Okay. So it's not Dylan.
It is not Dylan.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think it's chock full of social issues, but I do think that it approaches from what, because I had another friend that saw it, and it approaches basically the life and everything as if this stuff just is. Like there's no political message of this woman is here, this woman is there, but there's a lot of this is how we roll in, this is how we want to roll in 2023. You know?
Okay.
I don't know if I agree with that. It's interesting that the person would walk away, and I don't know if it was a male or a female.
It was a woman.
Okay. Their Barbie Land is a pocket reality.
Yeah.
Separate and apart from the real world. But there are connections, and the rules get a little fuzzy, but there are connections between Barbie Land and the real world. And I won't get into it because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But at the end of the day, Margot Robbie, who is not default Barbie, or not ordinary
original Barbie.
No, they don't. She's not original Barbie.
But she's good.
Yeah, and because the movie has a particular point of view and it is trying to say something, her character is obviously the most fleshed out Barbie. But Kate McKinnon is Weird Barbie, and they do this whole thing where Weird Barbie is a Barbie where the girl like cut her hair off and smeared her face full of shit.
That sounds like Kate McKinnon. Yeah.
And she's permanently in the splits because she broke her legs. So she can walk normally, but basically all her joints are all fucked up. I love Kate McKinnon. She can she's
that's a lot of
What
physical
was
comedy to pull
Barbie's
that
kid
off.
sister name? The kid sister to Barbie. Was it like her younger?
No,
Kendall.
there's Stacy.
Okay.
And then there's Midge, who was pregnant Barbie, and they discontinued her. And they do have a Midge. They have all of these discontinued characters, which is really Alan.
Wait, we had a single mother Barbie. We had a
Barbie. It was a pregnant
Barbie. Where was the husband though? Did the husband come in the package? If he didn't, then it is single mother Barbie.
Go with her.
Yeah, it was. Did you know there was a sugar daddy, a Palm Beach sugar daddy, Ken?
Did they have just the Barbie head? Remember the Barbie?
No, they didn't have.
You don't remember the Barbie head?
No, I do remember it.
It was a big head that you could comb the hair. I had that.
No, that does not make an appearance. So I'm not trying to listen. I'm not going to say it anymore.
The Mattel verse, cute.
Oh, G.I. Joe is Hasbro.
Okay, it's not Mattel.
That's the same as the Transformer, so they're not going to have
that's
that.
True.
The closest thing they got to that would be Toy Story. But anyway, we don't have to stick on this. We've got a lot of other stuff to talk about. I'm a big movie person. Anytime there's a movie, I'm probably going to see it on Thursday. So if it's something They Clone Tyrone, I didn't get a chance to see, but it sounds like we need to have a special episode just about They Clone Tyrone. But anyway, here is, I think, the biggest story of the day. It may not be the biggest story of the week, but certainly the biggest story of the day is that the trial has been set for Jack Smith's Mar-a-Lago case. If you did not know, he was looking for a December 11th start date. And Trump's team was like, well, we just really prefer that it happened after the election. And Judge Eileen Cannon straddled the fence. And so it's set for May. Now, we still don't know when Fani Willis, if Fani Willis is going to, it probably should have, but he's got that Manhattan case in March. And so she was trying to make sure she didn't want to do it before the Manhattan case.
And make sure he could be at both. Yeah.
Right. So you already have it in nothing was going to happen before March, between December and March. So then she was given 7 weeks, which she thought was the outer threshold of how long that trial should go. So that you got March into April. It is, but that's good.
Yeah, I want to touch on that. Yeah.
Yeah, go. You know what, Joy? I've been talking too much. Go on ahead and take it. Why that's good.
So if it comes after some of the major primaries, only two things can happen in the primary. Either Trump gets some groundswell support or he doesn't. And if he does, he will run his mouth. I told y'all I'm the baddest thing out. Nobody can touch me. I can shoot somebody in the street. And he will run his mouth too much. And he will get himself further in trouble because he will start to believe he really is untouchable. And he's already been touched several times. Now, if those primaries happen and he doesn't get the support he's looking for, out comes the crybaby. Out comes this is what they're doing to me. And in anger, he will run his mouth too much. It might be a different type of running his mouth, but no matter what happens with those primaries, he's going to say too much because he can't not say too much.
Jermaine, what is your perspective on the likelihood that Trump still maintains his wave all the way to the nomination, despite the fact that he will be in this case right before convention season?
I think it's 100%. I don't think it's a non-starter for anyone. I feel like if anything, he'll use it as a way to keep his name out there, as a way to buy into the victimhood, and people still support him. He'll fundraise off of it. My issue with the May, though, is it's after the primaries. So what happens after the primaries?
Not all of them. It's not after all the primaries.
Just a few of the early ones. Yeah.
So
it's still primary season.
So is there anything potential in these trials that they're thinking that might pretty much be the deal breaker for people that might be on the fence? Is that what?
So my take is slightly different from Joy's take. My take is I'm kind of glad that it's not until May because I want him to sew up the nomination. I want him to be the front runner and the leader, and I want other people to have cashed out because he is going to be convicted.
And you want them to put all their eggs in that basket.
I want them to put their eggs in Trump's basket and then try to scramble.
The margins are shrinking. They're not shrinking fast, but they're gradually shrinking.
Which margins are shrinking?
As far as his lead among the Republican candidates right now.
Well, but it's not. He's still 27 points ahead of DeSantis, and nobody else.
I don't think it's that much anymore. I want to say it's only 20.
Oh no, hold on.
To the internet.
Yeah,
I feel like it's only 20. I know DeSantis is still behind him.
24.
Okay.
And that's in Florida. Wait, hold on. On April 27th, he had a 46-point margin. He had a 24-point margin, but that's only in Florida. Let me see. This says, no, that's March. Hold on. Trump polling. Because DeSantis is withering. He's not growing. Other people are picking up some support.
Yeah.
But DeSantis is not, he's not winning right now at all.
Do you think they just won't take just a good survey of what's going on in Florida and just try to like connect the dots? Because these extreme things that they're pushing in Florida, people are responding to nationally. They are. And it's not boding well for his numbers if he wants to maintain his momentum. You don't think they see that? Because I can clearly see it. It's like every time he does something even more extreme, more dire, some social issue yet again, he tanks just a little bit more.
Well, the big money supporters are already abandoning him, and that's his problem. He had big money supporters. He didn't have the grassroots small dollar donors because they're all in Trump's pocket. So he's burning through cash. He's laid off some people. Some of those people are going to go work for the PAC that has a lot more money than his current campaign does.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the more people are seeing of DeSantis who are not in his home state, the less people are liking him.
He's not attractive. And I'm
he's
not
a good guy.
It's just his whole portfolio as a politician. It's just not attractive.
He's a really horrible person. And the bottom line is, if you put your eggs in Trump's basket and he is convicted, right? You are going to have people, because he can't afford to lose anybody. He lost the last election.
Yes.
So let's be clear. He
in spite
lost
of his
the last election by 7 million votes.
Yeah.
He can't afford to lose anybody. He will lose Republican and independent voters. He will lose. He doesn't even need to lose all of them. If he loses 10%, he's cooked.
Yeah.
So it's better to me because if there were a conviction that happened sometime in January, fine. But now you've gotten the whole entire primary season for somebody to build support. Ramaswamy, somebody for people to latch onto and start to build the groundswell. Right now, it's Team Trump. That's the thing. So when you put Team Trump on, and something will have happened in New York, probably a conviction. The case is not, really weird. The case is what the case is. The convictions matter. He might have the second E. Jean Carroll trial. Fani Willis. There's all of these things going on, and we haven't even started with the next topic, which is Jack Smith is readying his January 6th stuff.
Yes, he is.
So all of this, basically, this is going to be the most difficult thing. And guess what? You do not have to run for president. John McCain suspended his campaign during a time of national crisis.
Mm-hmm.
The federal government is not obligated. If you're the front runner, you don't need to campaign anyway, right? Everybody just wants you. You've already sewn up the thing, so you don't need to run around. You don't need to do rallies. All you need to do is sit here and take these L's. So I'm fine with it. I knew it wasn't coming in December anyway. And now Judge Eileen Cannon has set a stake in the ground, and she can't really move away from that without other stuff coming into question. It was going to be tight. I'm not, I'm glad they put it. That was that first high or that first low ball offer.
Are there any convictions that can come down that will disqualify him?
Excuse me.
Like anything really strong and just like, oh my God, he cannot go any further than this? Is there, because my knowledge of it kind of gets limited right there.
Well, January 6th, the sedition, if he's convicted of sedition, and we don't know what counts are even up. If he were convicted of sedition, then he could not run.
Okay.
It may be that some of the espionage charges in the Mar-a-Lago, how many indictments do we have? My God.
Yes, kind of ridiculous.
Some of the Mar-a-Lago things with the espionage kicker may be enough. If not to outright disqualify him, it may be enough to turn, a huge swath of the military against him. The military that hasn't already abandoned him. But I think the only thing that can absolutely disqualify him from an amendment standpoint is the sedition. If he's convicted of sedition.
Okay.
Had he been impeached and had the second impeachment, had the findings of the second impeachment stuck, that would have been enough for him to be banned from seeking office, because the second impeachment that was passed in the House included some bits that would have prevented him from running again. So I don't know if there's anything other than the Jan 6 things that can force him out, but it's not really that important. There are enough people, there are some dumb Trump voters who will vote for him regardless. But
in an orange jumpsuit.
Well, and I think what we're likely to see is that the GOP establishment, if he's convicted on this document stuff, or I don't even know if Jan 6 is going to happen in time, but if he's convicted on the document stuff, I think the party may abandon him.
Sure.
And if the party because the party has the power to do it. This is a party apparatus. The voters are involved, but technically the party controls all the rules for who is nominated. So they can do what they want. It would be a tough thing for them to do, to kick him off. But if he's convicted before primary season ends, then I think they may come up with something that would disallow him to serve. That is what I would consider to be a low probability outcome. I think it would be a lot better for the voters just to decide and crush him permanently.
Well, Christie qualified for the first debate.
Oh, yeah, that's not a surprise.
Oh, I didn't think his message would have cut through, but he had enough grassroots donors to get behind him to qualify him for the first debate. I thought it was
we got a question from CJ. What impact do you think the Hunter Biden investigation, whistleblowers, are going to have on Trump's campaign? Because it may bump his numbers.
I think it would have already had. Go ahead.
Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene showed nude photos from his laptop.
Right.
I don't know that helps Trump. The Hunter Biden stuff really hasn't gone anywhere. I think Hunter Biden and Biden crime family softens Biden support more than it helps Trump.
Exactly.
I don't think anybody who believes Hunter Biden is now looking at this and saying, oh, well, now I really, really want to vote for Trump.
Yeah. True.
If you believed the Hunter Biden bullshit, you were already in the Trump camp anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's boosting him. I think he's trying to make hay of the fact that he wasn't arrested. And he keeps telling that lie about boxes under his Corvette with a garage door that goes very easily up and down. It goes easily up and down, except all garage doors, if you have a garage door opener,
go up and down.
You know, one of the things that I don't know, and this is something that Patrice said, I don't know how the party is still willing to back him, given that he is a known national security risk. Like, how can you, in good conscience, as a steward of the country, back somebody that you know will give secrets away for clout? So, but I mean, aside from that, what I really want to get to is one of the struggles that I think the GOP is going to have is expanding their base, regardless of who they use, whether it's DeSantis or Trump or Ramaswamy or whoever. How do you get more people to side with the bigots and the racists that we know are in that party? Like, I can't see them picking up anybody in the middle that's not already there. And I can see them losing people, to your point, Tom, losing maybe 10% behind convictions and accusations, et cetera. But I can't see anyone that has been slightly conscious and paying attention over the last 4 years that's going to say, you know what, though, this time, I'm going to vote that way because I haven't before. You know, I'm looking for something different. I don't know how they're going to grow, but I can see, depending on how Biden's numbers are trending, and if anybody else pops up as a underdog or dark horse or whatever, I can see people shifting to something more palatable just because it's not that nonsense, you know?
Well, Joy, remember we talked not too long ago, and you mentioned that there's this whole contingency within the on the other side that they don't vote at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is their leanings traditionally? I mean, are they normally moderate voters? Are they left-leaning voters? Like in the Republican Party, who do they pretty much lean towards, if you will, since you're talking about expanding the base? Like if they lean towards.
They lean towards basically anybody that can help them feel better about their lives, which tends to be the GOP that says you can still look down on people of color, you can still look down on women, you can still abuse your kids or whatever to make yourself feel better. The reason they don't come out and vote is some of them can't. Some of them, when they defund precincts in poor communities, a lot of that hits poor white communities too. And you don't hear anything about it because they never talk about anything. But the last election had more voters than had ever voted ever in the history of the country, because a lot of those people that don't come out and vote did get up off their ass and come out. And the fact that it still wasn't enough to get Trump back in office, you saw how they acted, people storming the Capitol and everything. Yeah. They're pissed, and they are experiencing potentially, I'm spitballing here, but they could be experiencing the same disillusionment that young Democratic voters felt in 2016 when they hustled, not quick enough, not fast enough, and not unified enough. They tried to hustle to vote for Hillary, but it was too little too late, and Trump won. And then they were all like, oh, why don't I even try? I can see those people on the GOP side that haven't voted before thinking like, why should I even try? Because he's not going to win. So that's another thing that has going against them.
So two things. One, you nearly made me piss myself when you said good conscience in the same sentence as the GOP.
Okay.
I needed a puppy pad underneath.
It's relevant.
Just because that was funny. But what is going to happen is, you know what's going to happen, Jermaine. The same thing that happened in Georgia in 2020. When Trump lost, they stayed home.
Yeah.
Because he told them
to come out for the special election.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what got us Warnock and
Ossoff.
And then they didn't come out because Trump wasn't on the ticket when he ran against Herschel Walker.
Sure.
And the fact that they didn't come out was enough for our good friend, the Reverend, to stay in office.
Talk about sliding in the home. Like, dude, it was close. It was runoff close. But I mean, and so on the one hand, you got people in Georgia that, you know, it was close because a lot of people turned out to vote. But Georgia is, at least in the last 50 years, red as fuck. Like we haven't had a Democratic senator in 2 generations. And to have one now, like, it still means that they don't have what they thought was there coming out to vote. And a lot of those people that voted that way before, I'm just being real, they're dying off. Yeah. And they're being replaced by young people with a different mindset.
Sure.
This is why I am so keen on having Trump as the nominee. Even if you say it's 20%, though there's 20% of the current GOP electorate who will not vote if Trump is not there.
Yeah.
They will not transfer their support. This is not, we'll hold our nose and vote for Romney if Romney is the nominee. This is not, we'll vote for McCain if McCain is the nominee when we want Trump. This is, if it's not Trump, it's no one.
I'm staying at home.
That's exactly what I want. I want those people to be like, oh, this is a conspiracy and look what they did to Trump and blop to bloop to blop to blop. Nah, baby. Nah. They're going to stay home. Yeah. And it looks like Biden is sticking with Kamala, and Kamala is certainly.
She came out strong this week, though, at this general convention in Indiana.
She had some fire in her belly.
She did.
I get it. She did. I'm not saying she ain't.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess if you're gonna finish strong, so she got some months to kind of, get people excited. There are people who do not want her to be president if Biden passes.
Sure.
In this second term.
And that's
I mean,
the
that
part
was a
that
risk
scares
before.
me about him
That's
being
tricky.
our nominee. I wonder if the vote for Trump will be a vote against her, because even like the moderate voters, they still have problems with her.
Mhm.
They don't think I guess they expected the Senator Harris as opposed to Vice Presidential Harris. So the teeth that they thought that she would have, she's not bringing. I'm even hearing that among a lot of Democratic people. You guys even say sometimes,
yeah,
she's
I mean, like, where is she?
found.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, what is it you guys are looking for that you haven't seen in any other vice president that you're looking for in her? Because to me, it sounds a bit, I won't say hypocritical, but I don't think it's fair.
I would say I was looking for more visibility, more action, more project work underneath her umbrella as vice president. And I felt like she did a lot of stuff behind the scenes, which I'm not privy to. So it leaves me wondering, what is you doing, girl? So, but I mean, that can be said of any vice president.
Right.
Biden was really just riding shotgun with Obama for 8 years. Like, I couldn't tell you anything that he did either. Yeah. But and I will say that some of his electoral support was on the coattails of, oh yeah, that's that dude that used to rock with Obama.
Exactly.
But so him having tepid support to begin with, and her being with him is like, okay, what are you bringing? And so we maybe did treat her a little bit unfairly of, questioning what she. I don't think she could carry a ticket because she couldn't before. I don't think she can now. But to have them both run again, if the issue is he might die in office, well, hell, he might die. That could have been last time. We still had that looming over us. He's 80, before. Mm-hmm.
I'm just erring on the side of racists and just thinking that, if it does come, CJ. I don't know that they would vote for Trump as an anti-Biden vote as much as I think they might vote for a Jill Stein. They might do that sort of thing. I don't think which may have the same net effect, but I think Trump is going to have a much tougher time this time than he has had. So he was lucky in dealing with the win against Hillary. Mm-hmm. He was unlucky in his loss against Biden. And now so much more has happened. It's even trickier for.
I think they're all exhausted with him. They are. They're hanging in there with him because he is pretty much the face of their party. But for the most part, they're exhausted. And I'm talking about the moderate voters and pretty much the traditional Republican voters. They're tired. Oh, yeah.
There's also remember that the Gen Z, which is now voting, matter of fact, Gen Alpha, some of them are going to be 18 come next year. But Gen Z is the largest generation since the boomers. And Gen Z is not here for these old ass people.
Honey, they are not speaking to the needs of that freaking demographic at all. Mm-hmm. And you see that all over Instagram. Yeah. Very true.
No, it's I'm fine with the announcement of May, and we'll see what happens. I'm still concerned about Vivek, but we gonna just keep trying to.
I don't think nothing really taints him at this point.
Mm-hmm.
People never die.
Well, they say the good die young, so Trump's gonna live forever.
Ooh, Lord Jesus. All right, let's move on to perhaps a lighter topic.
Before we get into that, there's a couple other things that I want to cover because we got requests in the chat to cover this. So in the last few days, if you've been following this story that is happening in North Korea, there is a young private first class named Travis King. Travis King was detained in South Korea for a while. He is facing disciplinary action when he is transported back to the United States. Somehow, and I don't want to go into all the details because we are running a little long. Somehow he managed to get with a tour group that was touring like the DMZ.
Oh yeah.
And then like punched somebody in the face, took off running, and like ran into North Korea, like goodbye suckers, and he's there. And nobody knows what's happening. Nobody knows what's going on up there. North Korea is like, We don't know what you're talking about. We didn't see no dudes. What do you mean? And U.S. is like, I mean, we don't even look for black people. We ain't gonna look for one that ran away on purpose. So I don't know what you want.
And he's in North Korea.
Right. And so that's what's going on right
Korea.
now. Huh?
It's North Korea.
Exactly.
What?
He might as well be on Mars.
You know what I'm saying?
He ran into a black hole. Yeah. He stepped through the Stargate Atlantis and will never be seen or heard from again. And that kind of is what it is. Like, I want to know more about the story.
Yeah. Like, what led to his disciplinary action? What did he do?
I don't know. It was something relatively minor. Like, he wasn't going to be, he may have been at a court-martial level, but okay, get court-martial, go get you a corporate job. I mean, you're young, do what you want.
Yeah.
But somehow he thought this is a great idea. You know what? I think he'd been watching too many K-dramas and thought he could just do, like, there's a show called Crash Landing on You where this girl finds herself in North Korea and she ends up coming back to South Korea. That ain't you, bro. That's a movie.
Yeah,
Also,
that story was trending right
black.
under Carly Russell, and I didn't really get to dive into it, but I did hear that this soldier like ran into North Korea as a means of just getting away from his consequences here in the United States. So I was thinking,
he trashed a police car.
Oh, dear God.
Now, vandalism does carry a heavier sentence. It's probably it's serious things, but okay, you already been extradited back to the States. So,
what kind of anger issues does he have? Trashing a police car?
I think he's just stupid.
He is going to be in Squid Game season 3.
Yeah, he's done. If that.
It's a wrap.
Not Squid Game season 3.
Oh no, they're gonna pound his ass into the mask. He's just gonna be a mask. They're gonna paint a circle on his face, and he's gonna be a mask for season 3.
And it's not like he got kidnapped. They might give a cursory, and they ain't. And then I don't know. Like, I remember the last time right before Trump went to North Korea, they released a lot of prisoners that they had in North Korea as goodwill. And nobody want. I mean, his mother and his family. But we ain't.
He was already a bad guy.
Yeah.
Mark Stepney said, "I'm having manwich and potato chips for dinner." That's about all you can say. Ain't nothing left to say, bro. Like, it's man.
Now, on the whole other end of the spectrum, in Alabama, God damn it, Alabama. Black man. So this is Patrick Braxton. Patrick Braxton was elected the mayor of New Bern, Alabama in 2020. And to this day, they will not let him execute his office. They just keep being obstructions. They won't let him do not near thing. You thought Obama had it bad. They won't even let him in the building sometimes. Like, they treat him like a vagrant. Like,
yeah. The only reason why he even became mayor is because he actually went through the proper channels and filled out the proper paperwork and did it the right way. Mm-hmm. Well, I forget, I've got the legal exes of it all, but that's what he did. And I guess it was something that they weren't doing prior to. Mm-hmm. So I guess they really haven't had a mayor in a long time since they
he beat them at their own game.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But he did get help from this one sister who's been like putting in a lot of work. I forget what advocacy group she works with. And even she is in fear of her life now. They're like, her house got burned down.
This is some Mississippi is burning type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But this has happened in other like rural little towns as well. This is not the isolated case. I've read about stories like this happening where people, these really small, less than 300 population towns, and then the black candidate gets enough to where they actually win.
And then they just go ape shit. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I mean, this is what they've been doing since Reconstruction. You know, we had a whole lot of black candidates all the way up in Congress. There was even a black governor of Louisiana for like a week and a half.
Yeah.
But then once 1876 hit and the election didn't go well or whatever, and the North made a deal with remaining Southern resistors to take the troops out of the South, specifically out of Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, and I want to say Texas. And then they started murdering black people. It ushered in Jim Crow and lynching and everything else. And there were a lot of people that were in office at the time. They murdered a whole building full of people.
Yeah,
I want to say it was in South Carolina because they didn't like that they were all black. And so the difference here is they stopped murdering as much.
What I find interesting about this, but this is an 80% black town. So
it doesn't matter if it's 80% black if nobody black has power.
Right.
Plantations were 95% black.
In 2023.
Bruh.
I mean,
Yeah.
I get it. It just seems like you would just find your strength in the numbers that, I mean, you're more bound to see a black person in the town square than you would a white person if it's any, you know? So I don't get it.
Yes, CJ.
But
Of course, it's not in the textbooks. It's Louisiana.
Let's be clear.
Mhm.
This is the same state that told the Supreme Court of the United States to kick rocks when they told them they had to redraw the legislative districts to give a second predominantly black district.
Thank you, Jeannie. So PBS Pinchback was the black governor, and he was from 1872 to 35 days.
Yeah.
He was governor for 35 days of Louisiana, 1872, 1873.
So, you know, Alabama is on some real trick shit. And so it doesn't surprise me about this. We'll see whether or not their challenge to the Supreme Court. I mean, the Supreme Court isn't in session right now, which is, you know, but we still got time before the election. So we'll see. But best believe the GOP can't afford to lose any seats.
No, they can't.
And they're going to lose George Santos's seat. And the Democratic legislature gets to redraw New York. And so they're going to try to Jimmy Jangle those and try to see if they can, you know, reclaim a couple of those seats that flipped. And then, you know, we'll see what happens in Texas. Hashtag Colin Allred. You can give him $5 a month to help him defeat Ted Cruz.
That's the brother in Texas, right?
Yes. Y'all, please go support Allred because
he's running a strong campaign.
He really is.
He could win. He's got more likability and more like grassroots support than Beto ever had. And he could take not to mention the wow factor. He could take Cruz down, but he's going to need the money.
He's going to need the money for real.
Yeah.
So let's talk about a thing because we're almost to an hour, and I definitely wanted to hit a couple of other substantive topics. I agree. I absolutely agree about that. And one of those is this ass clown, Jason Aldean, with his little song, Try That in a Small Town. Basically, this is MAGA-id of the same type that DDG's Insecure is. I'm just going to say some shit. And basically, his video features footage of BLM protests.
Yeah.
It is shot on a courthouse, which was the site of a lynching. He basically says, you know, you might want to come from your little cities, but try that shit in a small town. We got guns here, and you might not leave. And all right, Colin Bay.
He references Sundown by name, and that nomenclature is actually in the song. Sundown.
Yeah, he is trash.
Yeah.
He is trying to incite violence.
That's what he is.
And he's trying to do it on the backs of this whole, you know, the fear mongering and anti-woke and all this other stuff. And this is the tweet. Wait, pull that down. Yeah, we know. His video has been pulled off the Country Music Network and all this other sort of stuff. But this is the tweet that got me. The Uvalde cops, because Uvalde is not a big town, cowering behind their vehicle, softly whispering, try that in a small town. Y'all are fake. And this guy is trying to say there's no mention of race. I mean, except in the video.
It's interesting. This song came out in May. And imagery is everything. When he came out with the video, that's when the whole uproar.
Because nobody was even paying attention to it.
Nobody was paying attention. So you cannot tell me it wasn't deliberate. Because
he could have just done that whole thing on the back of a tractor in a field, and we'd have been like, "Oh, country song." But he decided to do it,
or an actual small town.
Yeah. So I don't buy that. You know, he said, I don't mention race one time. I said, you don't have to mention race. We can understand.
If you put up pictures of black folks being abused, and you do your whole thing where black people were lynched. I mean, that'd be like. I mean, I'm not even gonna say what I was about to say because I don't want to get in trouble. But it's a mess. It's a mess.
So I wanna hit a couple of things because you know how we do, y'all. We did start off kind of funny, but we love ending on funny as well. There are a couple of quick little tips. We'll do a round robin of this. My Michiganders, the Attorney General, all 16 of y'all,
go.
You're done.
You know what's telling about this case, Tom? The original 16 electors included a former Secretary of State, Her name was Terry Land. She got spooked toward the end, and she recused herself. So they had to find someone else because they needed 16.
Right.
You would have think a Secretary of State recusing herself from such a heist would have been a red flag to the rest of them.
Right.
But no.
Oh, well, you've been trashed. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Vince.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Vince.
The thing that strikes me as really extra horrible for these Michiganders is that they literally have video.
Yeah.
Because they did their little vote. And unlike some of them, some of the people who signed their little certificates or whatever, some of them were like, you know, just in case stuff takes a turn, or if the legal challenges are blah, 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 then we are submitting these to preserve the right of, you know, da, 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 da. Some of them said that. These people said, no, we are the electors.
Yes, they did.
And when they got to the building and tried to come in to see the vote, the security dude was like,
turned them away.
So no, you can't come in. They're like, what do you mean you can't come in? It's like, well, the building is closed today unless you are being counted for the electors. Well, we are. It's like, well, actually, no. We've already gotten off.
They should have called their friend Herschel. You know, he's a sheriff. So got his badge.
They literally said, I've got all the 16. And then Big Chest pushes up to the front. Well, we are we're the GOP. And it's like, yeah, but you're not the real electors. And so
there's audio of one of them bragging about it.
Oh, yeah, no, it's all on video.
The administration told them to do it. Yeah.
Right. And so this is extra bad.
Yeah.
This is extra bad. And all these important GOP officials in Michigan and da-da-da-da-da, Bonnie Willis got 8, the 8 GOPs who didn't flip. She got the other 8, including the lieutenant governor, waiting to be indicted because of the specific representations that they made. Fuck around and find out. Mike Lindell done found out too, because all of the big box retailers who were selling his pillows, all of them dropped. Walmart killed him. Walmart was like,
because that's where all of the poor people were going to go buy his pillow.
He is having to sell off the tools of his manufacturing. There was a video that said, if you want this industrial pillow stuffer, you can get it for $5.
Wow.
At the sale. Now, I don't know who needs an industrial pillow stuffer, but he had like sewing machines. He had all sorts of stuff. He can't even sell a washcloth at this point.
I just wonder what wiggle room they do have when they do go to trial. Like, what can they like plead in order to
nothing? There's no wiggle room. Now when you're recorded, now when you have your own signature, now when you stood there 10 toes down and told bold-faced lies, there's no
lies. And she got 8 counts each. And the low count was 14 years or $10,000. So you got 8 of them.
And these people are well past their prime.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, it's
14 years, it might be a life sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a rizzity rap for them dudes.
Yeah.
That is just not happening. Here's a real quick one. A Baltimore TV station reported on these kids who hopped the fence, basically. So there are a number of municipal pools in Baltimore. 4 of them, in this scorching heat, have been closed because of budgetary this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. They're out. But the kids wanted to cool down, and so they hopped the fence and hopped in the pool. Do you know these people sent a news helicopter?
Yeah, they did.
To shoot footage of these little black kids, and immediately they put a tweet out there, and people immediately started responding to the tweet. And it's like, so if it was white kids, it would have been summer hijinks, beating the heat. But with these black kids, you're basically criminalizing them.
Right.
And they said, for the money you spent in sending a goddamn helicopter, you could have opened
the
pool for 10 years. Because you know it wasn't no money.
Right. Because here's the thing. That's the thing about systemic racism and white supremacy. They would rather spend their money to continue to create this image of black children, specifically young Black men as criminal from an early age, just born bad. They want to keep that idea going. So they do stuff like this when they could have put that money they could have put their money into opening that pool up and all the others, like you said, for the next 3, 4, 10 years with the money they spend just to get that helicopter off the ground to make these kids look bad. And what I also appreciate is we know as a collective body of Black America, regardless of whether you were born here or not, Black Americans know what the news likes to do to us. And I love that people came out and said, this is bullshit. And there's no way we'll let you. We got to stop allowing that narrative to continue of our sons are just born violent and born bad, because it's never been true. And if we really could, if by some miracle we could go back in time and expunge all of the lies that were told about Black people, you know, think about the whole lynching museum. Right. And all the people that were lynched for crimes of looking at somebody wrong. That's how they got this idea that Black people were criminals, because everything we did was a crime because it was outside. Sure. The minute you cough hard, you are a criminal. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So, looking at someone. Yeah.
Looking at a reckless eyeball and looking at somebody wrong. Right. So they've been doing that to us for hundreds of years. And I'm really glad we have things like Twitter and Threads and everything else now where people are saying, no, we're not. And hats off to the allies, the white folks that were like, this is bullshit. Yeah. That's what I'm saying about that Gen Z. Gen Z don't ride for that. They're like, no, why are you just icky? Why are you doing that? You know?
They're working extra hard now just to keep that narrative going on the flip side of it. Used to be just a headline back in the day, and you'd believe it. They're derogatory things they would say about us. But now the time, the effort, the freaking drone that they had watching these kids, it's like they're working just a little bit harder in hopes that it'll stick. And it's still not sticking. So there is a little solace in that for me, because I feel like they know that they're losing. You know, at least in my opinion. I try to find a good in some of it.
You know what I like in this? And first, I'm going to make an analogy, and I want to, in advance, apologize and show utmost respect and admiration for anyone who is a cancer survivor or a relative of a cancer survivor or someone that didn't survive. But I have described the racism in America as a cancer in America. And if we continue to ignore it, it's only going to continue to metastasize, right? It's going to get worse. It doesn't get better by not paying attention to it. On the other end, sometimes, as been known with a lot of cancer patients, before things get really, really bad, they rally. All of a sudden, after having been on chemo or what have you for a while, they feel better. They're like, you know what, I'm feeling good. And then it goes hard and it goes down. And again, I apologize if I'm triggering anyone, but I do think this could be what we're seeing in the United States is the rally of racism, where it's worse than it's been in four generations. It's worse
than gaslit all over the country.
All over the country. They're trying to erase us in our faces right now. Yep. I hope this is the cancer of racism. I hope it's that rally where you thought you had it going good, and then you have the next generations who are like, we don't do this at all. You know, that's another reason. I'm saying you gotta watch. They clone Tyrone. There's so much in that movie, and watch it all the way through the last credits, because the soundtrack at the end is fire too.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Yes.
This has been, first of all, I would like to say, not that we're like ending right at this moment, but I do want to say in this moment, Jermaine, that I thank you for your trenchant contributions to the show today. I love the way you hopped right in and picked up the ball on some of our topics. And the only thing we need to work on as a team is to talk over each other a little bit less. But that said, I want to lighten things up just a bit. There are a couple of videos, you know, we love videos here. And so I would like to lead off with Joy's favorite TikToker. So Joy, why don't you go on ahead? Let's see if we can do it like this. What happens when we do this?
Peace, fam.
That wasn't it. All right. I mean, that was it, but it didn't do anything. All right. I'm just going to put an overlay over us, and then Joy, I want you to trigger.
Turn the lights down low.
Unc. Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So the next video you're going to watch is Uncle Dam, and Uncle Dam is one of my favorite TikTokers. It's you. You can look him up like Uncle Dam on TikTok. He's also on Instagram. And he has a knack for finding really good stuff that keeps me entertained day in, day out. Love him to death. But without spoiling it, because if I try to explain it, it'll mess it up. Go ahead, roll that footage, Tom.
Oh, I'm rolling it? Okay.
Peace, fam. It's Uncle Dan. I've decided for the remainder of 2023, I am just redirecting right-wing energy. So when they say, you're just shoving your left-wing ideology down my throat, I'll simply say, you like it when I force it down your throat? You like it down your throat, don't you? Yeah. Just putting that wokeism all in my face. Oh, you want it all over your face? I can get it all over your face. Take it. Take it. What do you mean, buddy? You should try it. It's fun. Y'all be easy.
First of all, having Do Me Baby as the background track was the entire shit. I fucking died when I heard that. And the hat, where he had the red hat, then he had the purple hat.
The purple hat.
So you like
that
it
shit
like
fucking killed me. Now,
now you want all over the face.
This is not a this isn't a funny video, except that Lauren Boebert is a complete bag of trash. But let's watch this quick clip for some context. Some activists were passing out some pins.
Yeah.
These are green Converse pins because one of the murdered children from a school shooting was wearing green Converse pins. And so they have these cards with a picture of the young lady and a pin so that you can wear the pin recognizing that you are aware of the situation. And this, you have to watch carefully, watch at the end. This is what Lauren Boebert did.
Finally recognized her green Converse. Thank you. Have a nice day.
We hope you take action on gun violence prevention.
She literally threw the card in the trash. Saw that there was a young murdered girl's picture on it. Now, granted, this is a woman who owned a restaurant called Shooters before it had to shut down. And before her marriage fell apart, and before she
all of that.
She became a grandparent at 36. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you know. So now, coming up on the next season of Insecure, we have these two special guests who are going to share their perspective on their ladies' encounters with "There Goes My Baby." Usher, let's watch.
My name is Jason Banks, and I attended an Usher concert.
My name is Adam, and I took my wife to an Usher concert.
It was one of his first concerts in Vegas back in 2022.
Usher my wife.
He the shit out of her.
Right in front of me.
Hard, too.
I mean, he brought her right on stage and was just yak-yak.
My kids were there.
Yak-yak.
Me and my kids were crying.
Yak-yak. Right in front of everybody, dude. There's kids at the show.
Next thing I know, he just bust. Right on there.
She came twice.
And I thought it would end after the song was over.
He her for 9 more songs.
That's a whole album.
I can't even listen to Hey Daddy anymore.
Now whenever I hear like, hey, 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 hey Daddy. Or whenever he's like, Daddy's home for me.
Do you need a second?
I'm fine. We get home, and months later we find out.
I think it was like a month later when we found out.
She's pregnant.
That my wife is pregnant.
Baby was just born recently.
And he's black.
Adam walked off set.
This little nigga be singing and dancing. He be doing little kid songs, but he be doing it like real sexy. Like, the wheels on the bus go round and round. I'm like, them ain't even wheels. Them is tips. You can't.
I can't.
So that's probably
Usher
going to
got
be the
these
last
people
time
shook.
I'll let her see Usher.
So where's she at now?
She's at a Chris Brown concert. My name's Jason.
Yo,
You got them all
if-
shook.
If you get a chance to see Jason Banks live in his comedy show, check that shit out. That dude is hilarious. And follow him on TikTok. Him and he pretends to be his own son. That is some of the best. That's some of the best TV show I've seen in years.
So if you don't realize that you know who Jason Banks is, because most of the videos you've seen with Jason Banks' voice is actually this little white guy.
Yeah.
Who's and the character's name is Derek. And so there's this little white guy who does a really good job of doing the lip sync. And so I thought it was him. And then I finally saw that it was a black dude. And I was like, holy shit, it's like, because this is all this little white guy does. He just does Derek videos. And when his face broke, when he said, I did not.
This fool said the wheels on the bus go around and around.
Brian.
I can't stand his black ass. He is hilarious.
That shit is so funny. So how else could we end the show except with the story of the black story, the black Twitter story, the glitter story. How and Jermaine is in his feelings behind this.
He'll be all right.
But I'm sorry.
We got a credit union.
This is Black Greek Letter Organization convention season. So, currently this week it's my organization, Kappa Alpha Psi. Also,
this past weekend, the Deltas were in Indianapolis.
Deltas were in it.
Next week, we're going to be in Dallas, Texas. That Arctic freeze is coming through the Metroplex.
Okay, ice, baby.
Nobody cares.
So the Sigmas brought in Hezekiah Walker and another gospel singer, acclaimed sculptor, Ed Dwight, along with another astronaut.
Mm-hmm.
And
some good people. Mm-hmm.
No, definitely some good people. I mean, when you wait until they achieve everything, it's easy to pick them. So then the Sigma Gamma Rose famously last year for their centennial brought in Fantasia. And listen, Fantasia is a ride or die row.
Yes, she is.
She is a row or die. She got her new Saras up in the video. She's shouting about in the concert. She's shaking that monkey on stage. She's doing it all. She is in it.
Mm-hmm.
She shouts it out every time she gets a chance. Yeah.
Angela Bassett does the same thing. She was one of our centennial honoraries. With 911, she was throwing up a sign, got all the dumb stuff in the background too. I mean, I'm here for it. And we had a recent get. I don't know if I can say anything about it though, but I'm very excited about it.
Well, we're about to. We're about to show the video.
No, not. What video are you talking about? The Rock?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
Oh, so you don't like that one?
Yeah, no. I was just gonna say, like I said, we had our convention this past weekend. And
yeah, this past weekend.
There were some developments, but I'm not gonna say what they were.
What you mean? There was an extra one?
What?
No, just go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. This is the audio is from
Charlie Brown.
It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. So just listen. And it's quick, so you gotta listen. It's only 7 seconds, so turn it up. Just turn it up now. Here we go.
I got 5 pieces of candy. I got a chocolate bar. I got a quarter. I got a rock.
Okay, so the rock we are talking about is none other than this beautiful queen. Carly Russell.
Carly.
Carly in Times Square.
Guys.
Carly with her imitation Prada bag. So this is what had happened. Now, when I saw the post on Pyramids and Diamonds, I didn't know what was going on. I just saw her posing, and it was like shout out and the da da da. She's the rock, da 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 da. And I didn't understand. I was like, so wait, is she like actually a Delta, but she's fronting like she's an AK? I didn't really understand because it was a far away picture. And so I didn't get it. Then I actually saw who it was. And I was like, oh, hell no. Now, for those of you who don't know, Ms. Russell, sometime last week, made a 911 call. Help, Lord Jesus, I'm being kidnapped, Lord Jesus. white man kidnapped me. Jesus Lord.
This is more than that. She made a phone call. There's a baby. There's a on the side of the freeway, and I'm gonna go. Oh Lord, Jesus, Lord, have something.
It was a bait baby. She was supposed to get out and get the baby, and then she was grabbed it.
Yes.
She had grabbed it and took it away.
Yes.
Now, everybody's concerned. 3 days, 4 days later.
Another woman, and this is important to me, another woman who did lose her daughter to violence and abduction, etc., reached out to Kaylee's, Carly's family to try to help look for her and to make the media take it seriously and everything. Yeah.
Right. So, a few days later, perhaps after an out-of-town Beyonce concert, she shows up and she's back. Mother and father are white baby. Mother and father are insisting that she actually was kidnapped, but the math ain't mathing. And so, you know, the entrepreneurial people over at Triller have put this together.
The ultimate verses.
The ultimate verses.
And Chan said, at first I thought whoever kidnapped her probably did some terrible things to her, but now it looks like it was the same two guys that beat up Juicy. I'm just saying.
So
somebody said Jesse run so Carly could fly. Did y'all see that?
But wait, why does it say it's streaming on Tubi?
Because ain't nobody gonna watch it.
Yo, I saw the craziest clip from Tubi earlier, which is why I don't mess with Tubi.
No, Tubi's hilarious.
It's this dude was cheating on his wife, and he was telling her all their bills getting paid because of his dick. Why is that a movie? Why is that on television?
Have you guys seen the parents' interview though?
No.
Oh, I haven't watched the whole thing.
Because I'm just wondering, are they still believing this story? Or are they just actually not knowing that she's alive, but they're still standing behind her? Because two things can be true.
I mean, what do you do?
I know.
How about you don't give it oxygen and just let it die?
Right. That's why it's like dad is like he on a part. And then where's the baby? You know what? Somebody took that clip from was it Kevin Hart talking about when she got back to work on Monday, and then I'm headed home on the freeway. There's a fucking baby coming up on the side, and that's how I got into traffic. Like, yeah, all of that. But
can we conclude that she needs help? There's something lost going on up here.
Yes,
she needs some Jesus.
This may have been a very elaborate.
I just can't go all the way down because I've been hearing a lot of people say they will never believe black women now. Yada yada yada. She done messed up whenever we go missing again. Before
no, I don't
black
believe
women
that.
Still run that top of mind for people. So it's not like the needle hadn't moved well before she staged this whole thing. So let's just not act like that. I just can't. I hate what she did, and I'm very disappointed in her. But at the same time, I do recognize that this is a cry for help in a deeper regard, and I feel like this is what we should be focusing on now. The fact that we all got behind it—that's something to be celebrated too, even though it was Ruth. But
it is.
I don't know.
And let's not act like, I mean, I did have that thought of, girl, why you gotta set us back like this? But let's not act like white women haven't been throwing their whole van full of children in the water and then blaming
me. Let's not. I'm not. Listen,
honey, they've been lying on black bodies for years.
Ain't nobody.
Half that lynching museum is white women lying on black bodies.
And let's keep it a buck. Wasn't no white men arrested for her kidnapping?
No.
Like there were black men who were taken into custody and questioned about women who locked them little babies in her car and pushed it into the water. So let's keep it 100. In the overall scheme of things of what Carly had done, this is a footnote. But girl,
ma'am.
Yeah. What is she liable for? Like, does she have to pay back all the restitution as far as
it's gonna be
looking for?
No, she gonna.
So wait, she called 911 though, right? They have a 911 recording, so that's going to at least, at a minimum, be false police report.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's just hope she gets the help that she needs. Because I don't know about the rest of you. I have to run. If you want to carry on, you may feel free to. But I've actually got to go feed my childrens. So I got one more ad I'm gonna show, and then we can close out the show. So just going into, let's remember what the Republicans are trying to do to you in your bedroom. If you haven't seen this video, check it out. It's on YouTube somewhere, but check this out.
Get out of our bedroom.
I won the last election. I'm not going anywhere.
In our political radar today, perhaps the most risque political ad you've ever seen.
Do you have a condom?
Yeah.
No!
Sorry, you can't use those.
What are you talking about? Who are you?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we're banning birth control.
This is our decision, not yours. Get out of our bedroom.
I won the last election. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just gonna watch and make sure you don't do anything illegal.
Okay, that's from the...
Yo, and if you think it's a stretch,
it ain't.
They already in your womb. Shit.
Mm-hmm. I really hope that people, you know, even though it's funny and it's kind of like, I can't believe they did that. At the same time, let's not forget they really are trying to control women's bodies. And again, I'm putting a lot of eggs in the young basket that women under 35 will be like, no, hell no. And that's a big contingency. 35 to 18 is a fuck ton of people. If we can get the women 35 to 18 to vote against that entire regime, then you will see a change. It just depends on if they remember and they don't just do what their daddy told them to do when it comes time to vote. Mm-hmm.
That's a great message to close on. We're in,
guys.
You know,
I had so much fun.
Well, we had fun with you, and Steel Sharpens Steel launched as a political podcast, and it is still at our core something that we are very passionate about. We are back in an election season, an election cycle, so you can count on this type of insightful commentary that we pledge to you that we will always deliver. And so with that said, I'm Tom Cunningham.
I'm Joy Stevens.
And I'm Jermaine Taylor.
And this is Steel Sharpens Steel. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jermaine.